Hey everyone, it's Steve with Entering Into Space. Again! 2 videos in one weekend. Ha! Anyway, I wanted to do another video since it's another year of Orion season. Everybody loves Orion. Everybody starts with Orion. So did I. I still want to image it over and over and over again. And if you don't like that, tough. The best way to do Orion is to use multiple length exposures. You know, some 10-second exposures to capture that core, and maybe some 3 or 4 minute exposures to get the surrounding nebulosity. But what do you do when you've got 3 or 4 different data sets? How do you blend them all together? Well, that's what I want to show you how to do here in PixInsight. I showed you in Photoshop, but now let's use PixInsight. Let's do a more mathematical process in blending those data sets together. So let's get over here to the computer and get started. That was really fast, wasn't it? Okay, over here in PixInsight, you see me? Here I am. Here I am. Look up. Look up. Ah, I'm tiny. Yeah, it's Orion time again. I feel like I've said that before. And the last time I processed the Orion Nebula, I did it in Photoshop, and I used a lot of layer mask, and what I did was pretty organic. That's the only term I can come up with. Where PixInsight takes a more mathematical approach. Where Photoshop is, like I said, you're masking, you're painting, and it can really turn out, the variables in that are pretty large. You can get something different, dramatically different each time. So what I want to show you today is how to blend all of those different exposure lengths here in PixInsight to get a composite image. And right down here at the bottom, I've got several images that I took with a DSLR and the Optolong L Enhance. So this is my 182nd or 3-minute sub. These are all been stacked and lined and actually had DVE and AVE run on them, so they're pretty clean. So if I do a screen transfer, you can see didn't quite get out those geo satellites. Man, those things are rough these days. Didn't quite get them all out, but this is, you know, what we're looking for to get the surrounding fainter nebulosity. And if you're new to astrophotography, you know, Orion and perhaps possibly Andromeda Galaxy need to have different exposure length shot because, as you can see, the core is blown out. But if we look at our 10-second images and we kind of zoom this, spacebar. Come on, Steve. See, there's the core, the 10-second image. And if we turn off the screen transfer function, 182nd, you can see, let's do this. Watch this. You take this tab, put it over here like this. There you go. So you can see, blown out. So we want to combine these so we get a composite image where we leverage the inner core details that we got, but we also have this outer nebulosity. See the difference? So if you look down here at the bottom, what I did with the old DSLR is I've got 10-second, a stack of 10-second, 30-second, 60-second, and 180-second. Subs are actually integrated images here, and I want to combine them into one, and I want to show you kind of how to use that tool and some things that could lead you astray and make you hate the tool. So the tool is going to be called Hdr Composition. So we can find it up here in Process, All Processes, and Hdr Composition. So these are the standard. This is Hdr Composition default, the binarized threshold. This mask smoothness basically is what it says. It defines how smooth the mask is, and it comes at set at 7. And then mask growth is how it dilates the mask or how big the mask gets. It also can generate your mask. So this output composition mask, you can turn that on and off if you don't want to see the mask. Like I said, this is all default settings. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add the files. So we'll just click add files. And these are the 4 different image sets here. So we can just hit Control, highlight them all. Click open. And you know, it's quirky, but I found I get a better result if they're sequential. If you think that that's a complete waste of time, let me know. I don't know. So anyway, 10 seconds. So let's just move this 180 second down. So now they're basically sequential, 10, 30, 60, and 180. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you what I've changed this to, and it could depend greatly on your data set, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to really increase the smoothness of this mask. I'm going to move it up to 20, and I'm going to grow that mask just to 2. And what you do is you hit apply global, and you sit back and wait. Okay, so it has created a new image. So let's minimize the tool down here. So here's our new image, right? And then these are the 3 masks that it generated. So I want to show you something here really quick. Let's just look at mask 1, right? It's kind of... Let's zoom in on mask 1 here. So this is really the bright part of the Orion Nebula, and here's the mask. You see it's got a pretty good fade in it, but I'm going to show you, this is the mask at 7. All right, and you can see how that mask smoothness, the difference. That right there, you know, when I did it at default and I got my image up, I went, ugh. So that's what I want to show you about increasing that mask smoothness, and I'm going to show you here. Let's minimize these masks. We're going to push them over here like this, and we're going to highlight them all and delete. Bye-bye. So here's our new image. If we zoom into it, it doesn't have a screen stretch. You see we got a really good looking core here. But watch what happens when we apply the automatic screen stretch. Bam. Just looks just like the 180 second image. So let's pull it up here. Right there. Okay, let's zoom in. Let's center, let's duplicate that frame. So if we take the 180 second and we turn the screen stretch off, hitting F12, you see blown out. We take our new image, hit F12, there's our core. So we've leveraged all 4 exposures now into one. Groovy. All right, so we're not going to use that. So this is our new image that we're going to process here. Okay, digging it? And we can hit F12 to do the screen stretch again. And it's had, like I said, I've done a DVE, and this is a pretty good DSLR there. I was pretty proud of myself on this one, you know? But it looks like we can maybe crop it just a little bit. Let's go over here to process, geometry, dynamic crop. And we're going to hit the reset tool, which will draw a box all the way around it. And we can just pull it in like this. You know, since it's a processing video, we can really downsize the image here to something like that. Kind of speed things up. And check mark. It's so weird working with one image instead of, you know, red, blue, green images where you got to do everything 3 and 4 times. So, digging it. All right. Next step I want to do here is I want to come up to this rainbow looking button that says extract CIL component. I'm going to click it and hit the automatic screen stretch. This is my luminance. We're going to work on that separately. Okay. Cool. Okay, so I have run a DVE on this data, but I am going to come in here and do a background neutralization. So let's go into color calibration, background neutralization. I'm going to zoom in here, grab some area right about here. So this little icon here that has absolutely nothing on it, click it. And we're going to just say that right there is our background. Cool. So we're going to find that preview that we made. And click it, preview 1. And then just drag and drop. That should clean things up a little bit. We can kill the auto stretch and then re-stretch it. It looks pretty good because we have all the channels linked. So the DVE really worked really well on this one. So let's close that. And then let's do another preview right here in this really super bright spot. And we're going to come back up here to process color calibration. and color calibration. Pretty easy. So our white reference is going to be preview 2. Let's select it. And let's find preview 2. Okay. And we're going to turn off structure detection and our preview 1, which we already did as our background reference. So let's locate it. Preview 1. And then drag and drop. Everything's the same. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Hit F12 to kill it, and let's re-stretch it. Pretty good. To me, we got a little bit of green in here, so I'm going to come over here to Process, Noise Reduction, SCNR. And I'm going to push this amount down to like maybe 40%. Drag and drop. Anything higher really makes that background purpley. Yeah, that's the best where I can come up. So let's move this up here. And we're going to come in here to preview, and we're going to delete all our previews. So now we're ready to stretch this image. So let me show you a new tool for stretching that really brings out some serious color. So let's kill the auto stretch. First thing I want to do is open up my histogram transformation. I'm going to reset the tool. This little check mark here is going to show me my histogram peak, which is right up here because we're all black. Hit the little circle button to get a real-time preview, and we're going to apply mild stretch right there, right about there. All I want to do is I want to saturate the core of the stars. Hit the reset button. Now you can see just with that stretch, we're already starting to lose some of our core detail, right? We're going to work on this as we go. So what we're going to do is use HDR multi-scale transform. You can find that in the H's. I want to say to lightness, I want to create a lightness mask, and I'm going to drop that down to 8. Let's just see what it does. Let's drop it on. Let's start bringing this core back down. See, it actually made it brighter. Let's go back. Drop it down to 7. There you go. See, it just brought the core. Just took a little bit of that brightness out of the core. That's all we want to do. Okay? And we may do that a couple times just to keep preserving our core. And that's the key. A lot of people, you know, when I've processed this and put it on Facebook, some people go, well, that's not natural because the core should be blown out. Did I use that tone? I think that tone came out. I can't take it back now. You know what? Hey, it's personal preference. But what I'm looking for is a balance. You know, I want to show some core, but I also don't want to drag it down so much that it looks ungodly. But to some people it did. Whatever. Okay, so let's use our next little arsenal tool here. Let's go here to Process, All Processes, and we're going to go to Arc Sine H Stretch. Yeah, these names. Let's hit the Preview tool. It has one. We're going to keep adjusting the stretch factor and black point. So we're going to bring in our stretch factor here. A little bit more. And what it's going to do is it's really preserving color. And it's also holding back some of the brightness of the image. Just going to keep moving that over. Yeah. Just keep working it. And then I like to get to a point where I like it and accept it and then start over. Now you can see our core is getting pretty bright here again, right? So let's hit it one more time. All right, we're starting to blow it out. So HDR multi-scale, let's leave it at 7, see what it does. We're applying it to the whole image. Wow, look at that. You see that? We're not using a mask, right? So now we can continue to stretch, open up our arc sine stretch, do another preview. Let's start over. Real subtle. All right. And we've almost, to me, almost achieved like a full stretch. And let's kill that real-time preview. Yeah. Probably you got a little bit too much green in here, so let's boost that up to maybe 65%. Yeah, that looks pretty good there. And look, see, we got a bright core again, but what? We can open that HDR multi-scale transform. Let's leave it at 7 and see what it does. That's pretty good. Maybe a little bit too much. Might be a little aggressive. Let's go back. And let's go up to 8. I like it. The other thing that's really going to help, find the HDR multi-scale transform works really good. You can see we've still got some core details in here. We're not quite completely just holding that back. I don't know what the word is. There's a word. It eludes me right now. But one thing that's going to really help the flatness that HDR multi-scale is actually local histogram equalization will help that out. We can set that to an 8. And before we apply that, let's open up range selection. Like I said, all these are alphabetized. Let's reset the tool. Let's create a mask, our first mask here. Just want to grab right in there. Let's push that fuzziness up just to smooth out the edges. Man, I like to blur that thing big time. Whew. Look how blurry that thing is. You know what that looks like? That. It's terrible. Hell getting old. Range select. So let's put our range mask on there. It's our first little mask that we made. We've just kind of isolated off the rest of the image here. We can come in here, right click on the image and say mask, show mask, or don't show mask, one of the two. And let's create a preview just around the heart of the Orion Nebula here. We've got a great looking image, man. I'm excited. And so I've got it set at 8. Let's show the default settings at local histogram equalization. It basically has the amount maxed. I want to push that down. I want my kernel radius to be right around 200. Contrast limit is 2. And right now I've got it basically at like 25%. Let's just apply it. Yeah. See? Nothing. And it'll actually do some work in minimizing the brightness of the core. I don't know if you can see that here. Yeah, I like it. Let's go back out to the main image in here and let's apply it. So pretty quick. I think I've stretched it about as much as I want to stretch it. I think though, let's remove that mask. I want to get a little more color out of this. You know, ArcSign Stretch did a pretty good job getting some color in here. But let's pull a Luminance mask on it. Well, let's reapply it. We're not going to do anything to the mask. We're just going to do that. And we're going to open up Curves Transformation here. We'll reset the tool. Hit the little circle button to get a real-time preview. Let's click our saturation here. And let's see. See, our saturation levels are pretty low. See how they kind of increase up in here. So we can just come right up and it's going to lift the whole thing, but we can really just push this up. All right, and we can take this C component here. Really push that. Just like that. You see we got a ton more color out here. And you're like, eh, but wait, we're going to apply a luminance layer that's going to kind of knock some of that back. So we do want to make sure that we're pretty heavy on our saturation. And I'm going to call that good. You know, we've got this orange in here, but you know, basically that's what the camera's spitting out. I really, as you can tell, I really didn't do much to manipulate any colors. I'm just stretching what's there. So we can remove the mask. And we've got a pretty good blend. All this will blend out though. Got some pretty good color. The Running Man looks good. Blue with some of that magenta in there. I'm digging it. Orion doesn't really have a lot of yellowish stars. It's got a few. Let's look here. See, we've got some. Got some in here. Cool. Let's do some Prominence noise reduction, and the easiest way to do that is to open up convolution and blur the entire image. Do a real-time preview. We're just gonna blur it. All right. Okay, so this is HDR. We can double-click on it and rename it RGB. Okay. Move this down here. Now let's work on our luminance. If you're doing one-shot color, I would highly suggest processing this way. I like to reapply the luminance. I think it gives it a crisper, cleaner look after you've done some work on it. So I could spend some time running deconvolution on this, but I don't know that I'm going to. I think it could sharpen up some of these details. You want to do it? Let's do it. Fine. Let's do it. We'll zoom in on it. Ooh, man. I think that decon was a little too aggressive. Yeah, that decon went bonkers. You really couldn't see what it was doing underneath, but I guess real time, this is showing you we probably should have done some more global dark. Wow, so guess what? Let's do the go back button. Unfortunately. There's our image smooth. Let's see. Okay. Well, let's just run it through run it back through script. Actually, it's coming here to preview, delete all, mask, remove the mask. Yeah, this is real stuff, people. You know, sometimes when you do something, you're like, that sucks. I'm not going to continue to work on that. I'm going to come in here to script. I'm just going to run easy denoise, bore the crap out of you, and run it again. And we'll just do some Unsharp Mask to tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, what did I say? I think I said that in the beginning. I don't think this thing needs a deconvolution. Let's run it anyway. And look what happened. Ugh. Okay, it is done again. Wow. Super smooth again. Still like that. That decon was crazy. Let's delete all these images here, or all the masks. Solid light mask. Kill the real-time preview. Let's come in here to histogram transformation. Real-time preview. There's our core, right? Because we pulled a luminance off of the HDR composition image. So just do a stretch here. Yeah, it looks a lot better. We'll sharpen up with some Unsharp Mask. Right about there. Hit the square button to accept it. Let's minimize the tool. And let's open up. Now we stretched it just a little bit. You see our core's kind of blown out. Let's run a 7 on that, on the whole image. Yeah. All right. Oops. Let's open up the arc sign stretch. We want to stretch this outer detail and kind of maintain. I mean, you can actually use this little clicker here that says protect highlights. Oops, real-time preview. Protect highlights. Stretch it just a little bit. Let's bring that black point over. It's another way of really holding that core back. Just see how I'm working these over just kind of subtly. I've got a pretty good stretched image here. Yeah, granted, I'm not getting, there's some details in here, but they weren't real strong to begin with. You know, I'm just really trying to tell where to balance this out. You know, I want to see this. How much do I want to see this? Because showing nebulosity out here could almost destroy some of this that I want to focus on. So I like that, what arc sign stretch has done there. Yeah, it's really held it back. My core could probably be brought back a little bit. I've got a really good stretched image. I mean, for DSLR data. Très magnifique. Let's look at this range mask here. Let's apply that range mask that we made when we were doing our deconvolution that didn't work. And let's grab this preview. Look at that. This doesn't excite you? I don't know what does. I don't even know why you're here. Let's leave that set at a 7. Let's drag it over and see what we do. Oh my goodness, Lord. Look at that. I love it. And then let's go here to local histogram equalization. We're going to leave that set just like we had it before. Let's apply that. Let's see. Subtle. I like it. So our HDR, we're going to run it first. right? Now that we're back out of the preview, and then we're going to use our local histogram equalization settings. We're going to run that. And that made it look pretty darn good. You know, we're seeing some good detail in here. I like it. Let's delete the preview and let's remove the mask. Remove mask. All right. I think that's about all I'm going to stretch it here for the video, but I like that. We're going to bring up our RGB image. It's got tons of color in it. Let's just do a preview on it. Right here on the core. And we're going to open up LRGB combination. That's how we're going to apply that luminance. Let's reset the tool. Let's drag that luminance that we just worked so hard on, made mistakes with in real time. We're going to turn off our red, green, and blue channels. We can leave the saturation and lightness alone, but if we wanted to saturate it a little bit more, we're going to push that down, darken up the image a little bit more. I find it's easier to brighten up a darker image than it is to bring down a brighter image. If that makes sense. We're not going to check Prominence noise reduction just yet, because this is just a preview. We want this to run a little. I just look. I was like, I can't even finish my sentence. Yeah, you guys agree? Got some kind of blue fringing in here, but I mean, for the most part, it's a pretty cool looking image. Yeah, so let's hit Prominence noise reduction, and let's apply it to the whole image. And again, some of these things I'm doing here, I'm speeding through. I would probably take a lot more time, a lot more trial and error, but I mean, look what just popped up as I was adjusting my glasses yet again and talking. Pretty darn good looking image for doing this quickly for you guys. Yeah, let's apply our luminance to the image. A couple things I like to do once I've done that luminance, I find that it can kind of make it a little drab. Nobody uses that word anymore, do they? Curves transformation, real-time preview, RGB. Let's just apply a little S curve to it. Let's get it right here, like that. Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, look at that. And we can tighten those details up. We still have this luminance applied. We can open up Unsharp Mask. And yeah, it's a little aggressive. Let's push that down. I just reset the tool, so the amount comes standard at 80. We're going to push that down maybe right about there. Let's apply it. What that's going to do is it's actually going to affect the image and the stars. See how it tightens the stars up just a little bit? We can still see a few of the stars in the trapezium in there, but guess what? It's still pretty bright. I like it. So we're going to apply Unsharp Mask to the image. Nice. Nice, very nice. And let's delete that preview. And let's come over here and let's create another preview right in here. Got some noise going on in here. Let's clean that noise up. Let's go back to the image. We're going to right click on the image, go down here to mask, and we're going to invert the mask. So now we are protecting the highlights and our background is unprotected. Let's come in here to preview. The tool we're going to use to clean this up is going to be Process, Noise Reduction, TGV Denoise. We're going to check the CIE lab mode, leave it on lightness. All this is default. Drag and drop, and let's check it out. Oh, oh, look. I mean, I always hear people go, I don't know if you can see that in YouTube land. If you can't see that, what's wrong with you? Look at that. I don't even think I'm going to do Prominence noise. All right. I'm just going to apply it. Wow. Makes me rub my hands together like this. Son. Alright, we are done. Done with that noise reduction. Let's delete the preview here. Let's go in here and look. Oh, ooh. Yeah. I'm digging it. I don't think I'm going to do much more. I think I'm going to leave you guys to it. Remove the mask. Plus, I got barbecue on the way. Like seconds away. Yeah. So, yeah. So we took these 4 data sets and we combined them all into this image, and we used math. We went from being organic to mathematical. I like that. It takes a lot of the guesswork and the frustration out. And we've got what I would say quickly here is a pretty good image of the Orion Nebula and the Running Man Nebula, because it is Orion season, you know. We could use some enhanced dark structures over here in the scripts to kind of tighten up some of these darker areas. But for the most part, I think I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to play. I'm done playing. I'm gonna go eat, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope now you can look at PixInsight and say, hey, there's another way to process my Orion Nebula data here in PixInsight, and let another tool here like HDR Composition do a whole lot of work that you used to do in Photoshop with masking. And until next time, what do I say? Clear skies and clear minds. And if you don't have clear minds, just work on it. We're all working on it, okay? We're not 100% yet, but do your best.